Hello, this is Walden with our third tutorial. First, let's talk about bonder priority. I should have last week, but I didn't really think about it until it was too late. That and Guav's tutorials already covered it pretty well. Anyway, let's say I have a very specific scenario. You're about to bond these four atoms together. Now, will the hydrogen bond to the oxygen here, or to the carbon? If you said oxygen, you're right. And if you said carbon, you're also right. In order to prevent dilemmas like deciding where to bond, SpaceChem has a hidden bonder priority. Everyone's best guess is that the bonders are secretly numbered from top left to bottom right, going by rows 1 to 4. Bond order would then go from lowest number to next highest in order. So for 4 bonders, 1 has the highest priority and will try to bond to 2, then to 3, then to 4. 2 then tries to bond to 3, then to 4, and 3 finally tries to bond to 4. However, most people don't pay attention to the mechanics at all and just randomly move their bonders around until they get what they want. This will probably work for you as well, so feel free to disregard the technical aspects. Let's move on to what I really wanted this tutorial to be about, particle smashing. Let's say we want chlorine, a lot of chlorine. One way we could do it is like so. You know, this one isn't so bad, it's probably one of the best times that you can get for this puzzle. Well, if SpaceChem didn't have any bugs. Before I do any explaining, let's watch it in action first. Okay, so what happened here? Let's take it one step at a time. First, we use Waldo priority to input and grab at the same time. Next, we're going to bond this chlorine in the reactor to this chlorine about to come into the reactor. My best guess is that this game only checks for collisions on different objects. Since these two carbon tetrachlorides are now bonded together, obviously they can't collide, right? You'll also notice that the chlorine on the older molecule, seen here, overwrote the carbon on the newer one. Old will generally overwrite new, but not always. There are some exceptions, but that's beyond the scope of the puzzles I will try and aim for. This is called particle smashing, and it's one of SpaceChem's bugs that you might actually use in a vanilla puzzle, unlike the Waldo telekinesis seen earlier. If you try to bond non-colliding atoms on opposing molecules, particle smashing should always work. You can also get it to work by bonding a new atom that doesn't collide with an old atom that collides. I'll show you an example of the second case. This example doesn't really form anything useful, but it does demonstrate that you can smash a non-conflicting atom with a conflicting atom. The chlorine on your left was the new one, and the one on the right was the old one that would have collided with element theta. By the way, you usually can't smash two atoms that would otherwise conflict. Now, right here, you have enough information to complete the particle smashing puzzle's next round. Anything further may confuse you, so by all means, feel free to skip the rest if you don't want to think about it too much. A few of the examples that I give you throughout this tutorial are puzzles that I created after the end of the last tournament. I'm a little disappointed that I didn't have the foresight to hoard them. In any case, our goal here is to create hydrogen dioxide, an impossible molecule by the game's rules. We see that our output has 3 oxygens and 2 hydrogens total, and the input has 3 oxygens and 3 hydrogens total. So that's a pretty clear indicator that our design will involve destroying a hydrogen. Since we have a hydroxyl radical on the bottom, and this hydrogen peroxide has a dangling hydrogen on the bottom right, why don't we try this? Okay, so now we have a hydroxyl here, and we're going to input a hydroxyl here. Assuming that our bonders prioritize bonding this oxygen to these 2 oxygens on the right and the bottom before it tries to bond to the hydrogen, we should be good, as none of our oxygens will overlap. And now we have this beast. We can just cut off our oxygen, and now we're on our way. But not without bringing that leftover hydroxyl with us. Here's an example that breaks a few of my guidelines and really demonstrates how odd particle smashing can act. Okay, so at this point, we've completely debonded the flaminnic acid into its constituent atoms. Now we're going to bond everything together in a very specific order. My best guess is that the hydrogen and oxygen that overlap here and the oxygens that overlap here both bond in different directions, top to bottom, left to right. Since the carbon and nitrogen then bond together, everything works out fine. By the way, if you don't fully debond the flaminic acid, it won't work. You'll see max bonds pop up, which only makes sense from the oxygen's perspective, not the nitrogen. Yeah, pretty weird. Advanced particle smashing like this really rewards playing around with things, but we probably won't see it anywhere. Probably. Finally, here's an actual application from our competitor Pseudodude. We get this already smashed mess at the top, and then place it below. We'll smash this HOOSI in the left together through the silicons, and then we'll smash the HOO on the bottom into the new molecule through the silicon. Altogether, Pseudodude threw away an oxygen, a silicon, and then another silicon and two oxygens to form this hydroxyl crystal. I wonder if he could have produced crystals faster had he wasted fewer atoms. Well, I think that should tide you over for this week. If you have any further particle smashing questions, feel free to ask them in the thread or email me. If it's something that I definitely should have covered, I'll add it into the thread. I haven't missed anything this week, have I? Anyway, later.